everybody to the Vintage Single Sideband Roundtable. This is Max, Roseanne, Kilo Juliet 6 Hotel November in Darwin, California. I will be the host for this evening's roundtable. Tonight the station I'm using is a Signal 1 transceiver and an Alpha, let me turn it on, and an Alpha 77SX amplifier. We meet each Tuesday evening at or near 3895 kilocycles. All of us should be using equipment that was manufactured before 1981 or home-built equipment with equivalent technology. First-timers may, however, use modern equipment. So, I was looking through my preambles, and I couldn't find the one I was looking for. So I'm ad-libbing. Tonight we have a dual check-in format. The first check-in will be a roll call of members already on the check-in list. That's you guys. Please reply with your name, QTH, and a brief description of your equipment. During the second check-in, we encourage members to switch to another vintage radio. This is optional. If you don't have another rig or do not want to make the switch, it's up to you. Now we will go ahead with the first check-in, which would be name, QTH, and rig only, please. Proceed through the first check-in, and we'll go 4 stations at a time. And after everybody has done that and then tuned up their second rig, then I'll propose the question of the evening. So with that, I won't be doing the dual format. I just have one station. We'll go to K6ZTA, and then N6KN, followed by W6DQ and KF6QNG, and then Lisa back to me. So up to you it goes, Vaughn. K6ZTA in the group, KJ6HN.
Okay, Max, thank you. Yeah, KJ6HN, K6ZTA here in Woodland Hills. And the handle is Vaughn, Victor, Oscar, November. And the rig is 100V and the Drake 2B. So I'll keep it short, and I'll turn it over to Rocco, N6KN, K6ZTA.
Yeah, okay, Vaughn. And everybody, and I'm copying just about everybody direct. This is Rocco, N6KN, and tonight I'm running a KW2A and 30L1. W6DQ, go ahead, Dennis.
Hi, thank you, Rocco, N6KN, W6DQ, and tonight we are running the S-Line, the 32S3 Alpha, 75S3 Charlie, 30 Sugar 1 with an SM3 microphone out to the inverted V. That's it. So over to Lisa, KF6QNG, W6DQ.
Hello, and over back to Max, KJ6HN from KF6QNG.
KJ6HN here.
It got handed back to you, Max, W6TLM.
Over to you, Mike, with your, what's that called again? The dipole hanging in the breeze. K6ZSR, over to WB6RLC, and then over to K6LGL, and then N6WHK, and then Phil handed back to me. Up to you, Mike. K6ZSR in the group. KJ6HN.
Okay, Max, very good. I hope you're hearing me. You're a little light here tonight, which is extremely unusual, but I think we just got like...
Well, I tell you, that is one nasty radio.
But anyway, I do hear you in there, Max. This is Mike, K6ZSR in Santa Barbara, wet Santa Barbara. And tonight I'm running
7 KC's a burrito. Boy, that's just
and also
inconsiderate.
An inverted V in the palm tree. We're kind of windy. We're getting 15-mile-an-hour winds out of the southeast here.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna put up with that guy's illegal use of band space, but
that's what they do.
I sure hate to make everybody else pay over it.
Over to you, Glenn, WB6RLC in the group, K6ZSR.
Very good, Mike. Geez, you're like 30 over, just blasted in here.
Glenn here, WB6RLC, Cathedral City, next bird over from Palm Springs. Rig right now is a Swan 400, Shure 440/40 for Mike, up to an offsetter fed dipole at 32 feet. Over to you, Skip, K6 LGL, WB6RLC.
Thank you, Glenn. WB6RLC and the rated sideband SK6 LGL, Skip in Santa Monica. I'm on my 902DM, 100 watts, and I guess next Phil, N6WHK, I believe, K6 little green light.
Thank you, Skip. We're passing it over. November 6th, Whiskey Hotel Kilo. I'm on the Swan 350 Delta with the Ameritron amplifier and no tuner. Straight to the coaxial antenna. With that, back to net control. KJ6A10 N6WHK.
Okay, Phil, very good. This time I remembered to turn on my amplifier. I should be coming pretty good now, Mike. K6ZSR. Okay, thanks everybody for keeping it short for the first round. Over to W6TOM, and then Tom handed to K6KOI, and then John handed to November 4 Delta Lima Alpha, and then Matthew handed to WA6 Juliet Uniform Sierra, and then handed back to me. Up to you, Tom. Haven't heard you for a while. Go ahead.
KJ6HN, W6TOM. Yeah, you're much easier to copy with your amp on. I'm on my 10-tech Omni D tonight.
All right, I guess we're both going to talk at the same time on the same frequency, because I can't hear 5 kc away.
I won't be around for the second go around.
I think it's only appropriate that somebody say something. K6KOI, running one nasty-ass radio, and I've complained about it before. He doesn't seem to care about how he infringes. If you're going to run a radio that's 5 kcs of fuzzy bleed over, you should at least make sure you have clear frequency to do it instead of impending that nastiness on other people that are trying to carry on a conversation.
Would you like to sell your
And I really like it, because you know what? I got a good book right here, and I don't mind reading to you guys out of it if you force me into it. I can get a little bit considerate. It's not okay to use up 10 kcs of bandwidth when there's people talking 5 kcs away.
Okay, you are interfering with this.
And you know, I don't mind sitting right here and carrying on about it. If you don't care, I guess I might as well sit here and talk here, since I can't talk on 3900. What do you think?
Matthew?
Let me see if I can find something to read to you. I'm sure there's something on here that I could find that might get you guys interested. What the heck? Or you can tell me when then you're going to be a little more considerate instead of acting like bullies, because I guarantee you there ain't a one of you that act like that in front of me. Well, I did find something pretty interesting out here. Has to do with the CCVR on a OM4000A. In the communication settings, if you have a third-party external antenna switch connected to the amp there, yeah, you need to configure the assignment for each port to a specific band or antenna.
Over to you, George.
Which makes it pretty nice down the road and if you might forget.
Hello, Max.
Yeah, that's pretty nice, isn't it? You see how quiet that is?
For tonight.
I'm not asking for anything too outrageous, just a little consideration, because he doesn't need to bleed over 10 kcs, both directions, more than 5 kcs, just to talk on a net. It just isn't necessary. But if you want to be a weirdo, I'll still be as nice about it as I can.
There, but we'll see how it goes. Right now it's about 5x7, Gene, about 5x7. I'll copy up there, K6YIS WA6SEU.
Hills.
K6LK.
The example of connection with antenna switch.
And then let's just finish
in
it off.
the appendix.
Go to K2RP, and then Ron hand it back to me.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that. And in the rare case of needing to restore the factory default setting, press set and scroll using up and down to load def values to confirm by the set button. In the rare case of needing to restore factory default settings, press set and scroll using up and down to load the values and confirm by pushing set. That's how you do almost all the options right there. It's not more than a 3-step procedure. Sure makes it easy. All right, well, let's see if you can be a little more considerate in the future, because I don't like coming up here and listening to no crying when you get a little spanking. N6NTM.
Max, could you turn it over to me, WA7VIP?
Yes, over to you, Gary.
Okay, I'm not copying much of anything at all. I got an F9 noise level here. And I think I'm running a TS 830S barefoot into a vertical antenna and a stock high-duty killer mic. And that, Max, check me out on that. I'm just not able to hear anybody. I got a 10 over noise level, and the blanket brings it down to F9, but that's it. So, 7-3.
Okay, over to you, Mike, if you're there. W7MS, and then hand it to K2RP. Well, I don't hear Mike, so over to you, Ron, K2RP, and then back to me.
Okay, thanks, Max. Ron, that's needed. Ron from San Diego. Everybody's coming through real well. 32S3, 75S3B, S30L1, G5RV, SM3 Mike. Also, Max, if just to remind you, if you would make sure you ask for announcements, because I got one. Over to you, K. Pick it up, Max. K2RP.
All righty. Well, your timing is perfect here at the end of the list, and we're up to the announcements part. Are there any announcements of interest to vintage single sideband radio users? Come now.
K2RP.
Go ahead, Ron.
Okay, you caught me in mid-coffee. I just want to remind everybody that the fall sideband is this Saturday and Tuesday. We'll have lots of vintage rigs on the air, including mine, mostly Rocco's, and some other people. If you go to www.classicexchange, all one word, .org, or drop me an email for details. We'd love to have you out here with us all. That's this coming Saturday and Tuesday, the 5th, the 12th, and the I'm sorry, it's not Saturday, Sunday and Tuesday. That's Sunday and Tuesday. Thanks, Max.
Okay, very good. Thanks for the announcement, Ron. Any other announcements?
Just a comment, you skipped over K6LK in the first round.
No, K6LK was there, and he said he was going to check out.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Yeah, I drew a line through his call sign. That's how I know. All right. Anybody else looking to check into the roundtable, give me a call, KJ6HN. WA6LJR. Any copy? All right, WA6LJR, and there's a really weak station in there. I'm going to turn my gain up. Come again?
That was WA6LJR.
No, I got LJR, but there was another station. No, I guess not. I guess it's a very distant QSO. Okay, well, let's get on with part 2 of the program. And here's my question of the evening. It's really a simple question. Sometimes I come up with philosophical questions, but this one's really easy. And here it comes. Vox. When using a microphone with your vintage single sideband transmitter, do you prefer using the push-to-talk switch on the mic, or a foot switch, or Vox? Or do you have some other method? And if you have some other method, please tell us what it is. So very simple question, very short, sweet, to the point, which is good because we have a long list to go through. I didn't count, but it looks like over 20 people. So there's the question. I'll repeat it after we take a few groups. Up to the top of the list, K6ZTA, Vaughn, hand it to N6KN, and then over to W6DQ, and then to KF6QNG, and then Lisa back to me. So, Vaughn, it's all yours. K6ZTA in the group, KJ6HN.
Okay, KJ6HN, K6ZTA, and sideband, vintage sideband, Tuesday night. All right. The rest of the rig here is an antenna tuner, a Heathkit 2060, and the antenna is of an inverted V, and the microphone is a 10D. Okay, so to the question, I've gotten used to push to talk, and I tried Vox years ago, and I've just kind of left it in the back room, and haven't used Vox for years and years. So, okay, with that, I'll just turn it over to Rocco. In fact, I'll turn it to Rocco. N6KN, K6ZTA, thank you.
Okay, bud. Well, hold on. Put it on my power tool. Okay. I found it. Now I just have to
get myself on frequency. Well, this is a really good question. By the way, I'm still on the KWM2A. I guess the easy answer is I use foot switch on CW. Yeah, finally found the mute. I use the foot switch on CW, and it works really well for that. Or maybe if I'm in some kind of activity or contest where I need two hands. But for just casual operating, I use PTT on the microphone. And there's locking PTT. There's all kinds of schemes with all these microphones. Frankly, I like just a very small toggle switch, click, click, one way or the other. Of course, you can goof and leave it on. That's the problem with those. W6DQ, go ahead, Dennis.
All right, Rocco, thank you. N6KN and the Vintage Single Sideband Roundtable, W6DQ here. Currently running rig number 2, the KWM380, along with the Alpha 87A, out to the same inverted V antenna. And right now, I use the PTT on these mics, on the SM3, of course, on the S-line over there, and on this guy, the SM280. I do use the PTT if I'm not going to be talking but a few seconds, like checking in or something, but I get tired of holding the switch, so I'll hit the what they call MOX, manual keying on the front of the transmitter on this rig. Others, I have a lever switch that I flip to go to transmit, because I do not use Vox. I don't like Vox. I don't like using it. I used to, but not anymore. I guess the only time I would ever use Vox would be on CW if I was, typically I'd be running full break-in. So Vox, whatever, using the same settings, but full break-in. Here I just use manual, and either if the microphone has the lever like Rocco was talking about, yeah, I'd use that. Otherwise, I just reach up and hit the toggle switch on the console here. So that's what I do, Max. So thanks a lot for hosting this evening, Max. And thanks to John for taking the earlies. Over to Lisa, KF6QNG, and the Vintage Sideband Roundtable, W6DQ.
Okay, thank you, Max, for taking the roundtable this evening. And my choice preference would be the PT2. That's the one I know. Anyway. So back to you, Max. KJ6810 from KF6QNG.
All right, well, so far the PTTs have it with a foot switch in there, and nothing about Vox. And I'll comment here maybe after the next group on my preferences. Okay, over to Mike in Santa Barbara. How you doing there? K6ZSR, over to WB6RLC, Glenn. And then Glenn handed over to Skip, K6LGL, and Skip over to Phil, N6WHK, and then Phil handed back to me, please. So, over to you, Mike. It's all yours.
Okay. Oh, very good. K6HN in the group, K6ZSR. By the way, your signal really came up, Max, so it's what we call armchair copy, old man. Yeah, you're doing good. Nice audio, too. This is K6ZSR, Mike in Santa Barbara, and I'm on the same rig, the Cosmophone 35. Max, my station's a mess here. Everything's torn up. I'm revamping everything. It's just a mess. So it just, I'm just amazed that I was able to get this radio on the air. But nice subject today, and apropos, because this doggone Cosmophone 35, I love this thing, but it has no provision for push to talk. I got to get up and throw the transmit button. And, due to my poor planning, I got it on the third shelf here, so I have to stand up every time I transmit on this thing. So eventually I'm going to have to get in there and wire up a pickle button to the transmit switch and do it that way. But Max, for me, the doggone, I love the vintage radios to death here, but they're too clunky on Vox. And so I keep saying one of my projects is going to be a nice solid state, fast reacting Vox that I could adapt to all of my vintage radios. But until that time comes, and I think it's still a way off, I'm going to stick with Vox on my modern stuff and just hit the pickle button here for these beautiful vintage radios. So that's the way I have it here. Over to Glenn. He probably does it, a lot better than I do. WB6RLC in the group, K6ZSR.
Alrighty, very good, Mike. It gave me a chuckle there. I haven't thrown that many switches since I had my novice rig, Flip the antenna over and flip the transmitter on, flip the receiver off. Geez, Anyway, Glenn here, Cathedral City. This rig here is a Swan 500. No suffix, a single year of manufacture only. Sure 444 mic, up to the usual off-center fed dipole at 32 feet. I like push to talk. I usually use push to talk. If, like with these Shure 4044 mics, it's got a lockdown part of the push to talk. So if I do get long-winded, which God knows I never do, you can lock the push to talk down. Though, like somebody else says, sometimes you forget to unlock it, and things rattle on for a while. So anyway, the only time I use Vox is with my modern rig during single sideband contests and things like that. So I put on the Heil headset and turn on the Vox. But other than that, nope, just good old push to talk. Just works
just fine for me. So anyway, go over to you, Skip, K6 Little Green Light, WB6RLC in the group.
Okay, thank you, Glenn. WB6RLC up there in Cathedral City, Palm Springs area. K6 Little Green Light in Santa Monica Bay. Kind of wet from the rain. Okay, I'm running my Swan 500 Charlie X-ray transmitter into homebrew doublet antennas with ladder line. And the microphone is Electrovoice 638. My preference is push to talk since I run quite a bit of AM, and the last thing you want to do is trigger your transmitter relay with a full carrier, 300 or 400 watt carrier. That's not the way to save relays. So push to talk is the only way, and I have on some microphones I have a lock-in feature just like the 638 does here. It works out quite good. Not much of a fan of Vox. Prefer push to talk. Although I did have on my older AM kilowatt, I had a slide switch, one of those telephone type that locks in both. And one side is momentary and the other one you could lock in. But that's an AM rig. So that's the story there. I guess next it goes to Phil and 6WHK. Good evening to all from Santa Monica. And hey, thank you very much for the rain, and I hope the election goes your way there. And 6WHK, K6 Little Green Light in Santa Monica by the Bay.
K6LGL and 6WHK. Well, I'm running the HW12 this time around with a heat-kit microphone, push to talk on the front of it, running the same amp I had on a while ago. I'm running to the same antenna, the coaxial dipole, no tuner. So that's what I'm operating here, and I have to go with the push to talk on the microphone, because all of my have are that way. Back to next control, KJ6, HM, and 6WHK. Okay, Phil. Well, wow. The PTTs really are coming in solid. I've got, with some variations, manual switch and X-Mint lever and stuff like that. Okay, well, let's take the next group of 4, and then I'll give my comments. Over to you, Tom. W6TOM. Hand it over to John, K6KOI, and then over to November 4th, Delta Lima Alpha, Matthew. And Matthew, please over to Whiskey Alpha 6, Juliet Uniform Sierra, and then please hand it back to me. So go ahead, Tom.
W6TOM, it's up to you, KJ6HN.
Well, Tom has left the room. Over to you, John, K6KOI.
Okay, K6KOI, I did change rigs. I'm on a Swan 100MX and a little solid-state amplifier with 8 MRF 454s, running about, it says 450 watts. And so the short answer is I like push to talk. I like the Shure 444 push to talk and D104 push to talk. I will use Vox if it's a conversation where it's back and forth real quickly and it's a modern rig. Don't like the Vox so much on the older rigs. And the only time I use a foot switch is I'm using one of the older rigs with one of the solid-state amps that I put together where I really don't want the transceiver to key and hot switch the relay. And the modern rigs have a little bit of a delay you can program in the very, very slight delay, fraction of a second, but it's enough for the relays to engage and prevent hot switching. So if it's going to be using one of the old rigs with a solid-state amp that I put together, I'll be using a foot switch. So with that, over to, I guess it goes to Matthew, and for DLA, K6KOI.
Okay, that's K6KOI. Roundtable from Matthew and for DLA. I switch
the amplifier on here. Switched radios to a 10-deck Argonaut. And at the beginning, the amplifier wasn't on. So now I got 50 watts. And this radio does not have Vox or provision for Vox being built in. It does not have it available. It's not a big enough 10-tech for Vox. The Atlas 210X I was using earlier does have an option for Vox if you have to get the docking station, I guess, for its power supply and the other accessories like the noise blanker. So I've only used push-to-talk. I tried a foot switch with this radio once back about 45 years ago, or right after I got my general license in late 1978, and there was a buzz in it, and they said, get that thing off the air. So I'm like, okay, we'll try that again. That was with a D104. So I used to use a Shure 444 with this. I switched that to my 10-tech Corsair 2 when I got it in 1989. So this is my 1977 pair, I guess, the Argonaut 509, and also the Atlas built the same year. So I'm on the 10-tech Ribbon Electro Voice knockoff microphone. So I hope you can copy just this little 50 watts. And I will turn it over to John, WA6JUS, from N4DLA.
Okay, well, I do like the switch on the microphone. Keep it simple. And once again, this is the ST100. I'm in Claremont, Kearney Mesa. And this ST100's not been on for quite a while, but it's sure doing a nice job. And been awful busy today, and I haven't caught any more of what the discussion is, so let me turn it back to that control, WA6JUS.
Okay, John, good transmission. All the signals have been really good. KJ6HN here.
And I'll weigh in with my comments. I have been using a foot switch for years, and I just love it. I don't have to get my, I'm left-handed, so I don't have to get my left hand all tensed up, keeping the push-to-talk button down. In fact, I'm talking on my D104, which I like because everybody else likes it. We had a microphone question of the evening a year or so ago, and the question was, what's your favorite microphone? And my comment was, my favorite microphone is the one that everybody else likes to hear me on. And that seemed to be pretty much generally the D104. So that's what I'm using, and I've got an AGC ceramic fuse kind of wedged into the push-to-talk bar, and the spring clip moved up on it so that the fuse can't come out. And I just grabbed the microphone that way and used the foot switch, and I love it. I soldered in, I think, 100 picofarad capacitor across the contacts of the push-to-talk switch, because at one point years ago somebody was saying, when you let up on that push-to-talk switch, your foot switch, I'm hearing a big pop. So hopefully nobody hears the pop. Otherwise I'll have to look into it. And I have one of my thoughts on Vox, and interestingly enough, I've only got one half of a Vox person interested in that. Now I don't know who it was. But I don't care for Vox either, and when Mickey was around, WA6FIZ, he always used Vox. And what I don't like is how it chops off the first few milliseconds of your first word. And I always thought that the ideal Vox would be a more sophisticated kind of an arrangement with a little microprocessor with a buffer, that when you first started talking with Vox, it would buffer whatever it was you were saying for a few milliseconds and then retransmit your voice so that it wouldn't sound choppy. That's my thought on that. Of course, it would be really complicated, and the foot switch is so much easier. It's mechanical and all that other stuff. But that would be my idea for a really good Vox circuit, is something that buffers the first, 300 milliseconds or so of your speech. So that's what I think about that. And let's carry on. Wow, it's already almost 7:30. N6AF to take it, followed by NY6L, and then Larry, W6WUH, Whiskey 6 WUH, and then over to George, W6YEC, and then George, hand it back to me, please. So N6AF up to you, KJ6HN in the group.
Oh, very good. I had shut things down and I turned it back on for a second, but I want to explain all that. Cool. November 6th Alpha Fox, and a somewhat rainy Emerald Hills up above Redwood City. I'm running my Atlas 210X solid state amp. It's all throttled back to about 300 watts out to an off center fed dipole, and just enjoying the rain that we need. And 10 meters today, worked Costa Rica, and a couple days ago on 40 meters I worked Nicaragua. So the propagation is certainly quite decent. And push to talk with this 444D, and that's my usual mode of operation. If I'm playing tennis or riding my bicycle in parallel with hamming, I usually use a foot switch. Over to NY6L. This is N6AF.
Are you there?
I don't hear him. Someone call NY6L.
NY6L, it's your turn. Take it over. If nobody hears NY6L, it goes over to W6WUH. W6WUH, take it away. Somebody else has left the room. Alrighty. Over to you, George, W6YEC, and then back to me.
Wow, they're dropping like flies. W6YEC, very good job. Max, good net tonight. Everybody sounding great over here in San Diego. We're on the, stayed on the same radio, the TR4, and this is when I got up running several weeks ago and was trying to decide what to do, whether to hold on to it or let it go, and but I decided to let go of my beloved C line. I've had it for years, and the B line for years, and this takes up less room, so I am going to make a C line. A very nice one available to somebody that would be interested with the Sherwood cap filters in it, and for the filtering, CW filtering, and also how about upgrades, and it's in very, very nice condition. So anybody interested in a C line, give me a call at 619-277-6043, and we'll talk about that. But right now we're using a TR4 driving an L4. Anyway, with an electro voice microphone, and to the question of the evening, a toggle switch is my favorite. I got a toggle switch on the base here of the 664, and then I use toggle switches over there with the AM equipment. And also keying my ICOM 7600, I use a toggle switch. And this has just been my favorite way. Or if it happens to be a mic with somebody hit a pickle on it, I do that too. Use the mic like on a D104. So that's my answer to the question, and it's back to you, Max. Again, thank you. KJ6HN W6YEC.
Okay, George. Wow. Well, toggle switch. All right. You're the black sheep so far. We've got manual switch and transmit lever from Mike, and you with the toggle switch. Well, I can't quite imagine using a toggle switch. Of course, if the toggle switch is in transmit mode, I wouldn't hear anything, so I probably remember to turn it off, but there's always that possibility I might step away and things I wouldn't want to have transmitted might get transmitted, so my thoughts on that. All right, keeping it moving, it's after 7:30, so we're just going to go to the end of the Q2 list here, and then that'll be it. Meanwhile, I'm trying to figure out who gets the Gold Cup. So is there anybody else looking to check in to the vintage single sideband roundtable? Give me a call, KJ6HN.
Yeah, Max. KJ6HN, WA7BIP. I hung in here at the high noise level just to let you know I'm a push-to-talk guy. WA7BIP.
All right, well, you're coming up right after Bob, if you want to talk. So over to WA9JIB, Bob in La Cañada, and then W7BIP, Gary. K6LK checked out, so over to W7MS. Hello, Mike. Let's see. Well, Mike, if you're there, turn it back to me, and we'll see what happens. Over to you, Bob. WA9JIB in the group, KJ6HN.
Okay, Max, KJ6HN, and roundtable at WA9JIB. Signal hole pretty good, and noise very low. Beautiful night for propagation. The name is Bob. Bob is my name, and push-to-talk is my game. What can I say? And I've got it pressed with the lock on the MC50 mic. And from there we go into my helicopter's dream station, HT32B, SX115. Same as I had in the earlier round. Got the R48 speaker going through an MFJ tuner I got from K2RP, and a dipole antenna, inverted V, 35 feet at the feed point. Let's see, yes, I liked Vox as a teenager with my HT37 in those days, but I just never use it anymore. I really like push-to-talk. If I'm going to make a very short transmission, I won't lock it. If I'm going to make a longer transmission, I will lock it on this mic. On my Yaesu station, I just have a hand mic with a push-to-talk, but it doesn't lock. So if I'm just calling somebody quickly, I just hit the button. But if I'm going to make a transmission of any length, like maybe a minute, I usually flip the Mach MOX lever on the front panel of the FT101E. But anyway, basically, push-to-talk is how JIB does it. Over to Gary, WA7VIP, WA9JIB. Okay, JIB, yeah, I could barely hear you there, so I hope it's going to me. Let me just take a quick break. Yeah, I guess I got it. It's a WA7VIP. With a horrible noise level. It's like 10 over, 20 over, and Max, sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there. I thought you were calling for no other stations, or you're done with the list, and I didn't mean to step out of order there. I checked out, but I thought I'd hang in here just in case I could hear, and probably should have checked out anyway, because it's really a struggle here. And thanks for putting up with me there. Anyway, running the same radio, I didn't switch. And just wanted to add my comments that I'm push-to-talk as well. The reason I don't use Vox isn't because I don't like it. It's because I've got other radios running in the shack, and they tend to stick the Vox, and it's very annoying. So that's why I'm using push-to-talk. And I don't know if Bill checked out or not. You might have mistaken Bill, me checking out for Bill there, Max. So you might want to, let me just see if Bill's there. K6-7VIP. Are you still in there, Bill?
I don't hear him.
Yeah, it was telling me to do that. I couldn't hear him anyway. With the noise level. Anyway, KJ6HN, WA7VIP. Yeah, thanks for taking on that.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you for the thanks. Goes over to, well, let's do it this way. Goes over to W7MS, who didn't respond last time around, and then over to K2RP, and then finally over to WA6LJR, and then back to me. So up to you, Mike, if you're in the room, W7MS. Copy on Mike. Over to you, Ron. K2RP and then WA6LJR and then back to me.
Okay, very good. Max, thanks for taking the net, and John, if he's still around, for taking the earlies. I have kind of a hybrid answer to the question. I use the, oh, by the way, I switched rigs. I'm on the Helicrafter Cyclone SR400 driving a Kenwood PL922 10D microphone. Excuse me. The only thing I use Vox for is I do some very few sideband contests. I've got a Heil headset, and I use Vox with that, but not usually with the vintage rigs. I use a combination of foot switch and Vox, and foot switch and push to talk. With the transceivers, I usually use push to talk or with the Collins S line and the Drake 4 line because it's so easy and convenient to do. However, I also have a couple of freestanding transmitters like the HD32 and the GSB 100 that don't have Vox built in, although I did modify the Helicrafters. And I use a foot switch with that. I built up, and also with a lot of my little CW transmitters that, of course, don't have push-to-talk. Years ago, I just built up a little chassis with a antenna switch and a muting switch that can be adapted to whatever transmitter receiver I'm using. It also has a built-in crystal calibrator and SWR bridge, just something I built up for use with vintage rigs that don't have push-to-talk. And then I have a hybrid system, I call it. Right now, I have a bunch of transceivers, and I can run them through the Kenwood amp, but it's too time-consuming and unwieldy to use the transceivers to activate the amp. So what I did is I put a foot switch just on the amp. So when I'm using the amp, like I am right now, the push-to-talk switch operates the transceiver, and the foot switch activates the amp. So it's kind of, I'm using both right at the same time. So that might be an unusual answer. And if Mike's ZSR is still on, I've had the same situation where, for example, my GSB 100, which I have paired with the 1A, is up too high and it doesn't have a push-to-talk. So I just put a relay in there and a foot switch underneath it. So I use a foot switch for that. But I think the more unique thing that I'm doing is using one foot switch for the amp and a push-to-talk for the transceivers, if anybody's interested in that. Okay, thanks again. See you next week. WA6LJR, I believe, to take it. K2RP.
WA6LJR. It's up to you to make a transmission. KJ6HN.
I'm here.
Well, another roundtable member has left the room. All right. Well, it was great, Net. I'm going to give it a close here in just a moment. And I've been keeping score, and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 people voiced push-to-talk, 2 with a foot switch, well, 3 including me, and one half of a person and another person with Vox. And it's interesting because almost all radios, I mean, my S-line comes with, hang on, I'm looking. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. No, my 32S3 does not have Vox. But anyway, Vox came about a long time ago. And if this group's comments are any indication, Vox is not really well liked. And I don't like it either for the reasons I specified when WA6FIZ would use it. I just didn't like the chopping off the first syllable of whatever he was saying. Anyway, good comments. Let's see. So I've been thinking about a Gold Cup award. I'm going to give the Gold Cup award to Mike K6ZSR. If you're still around, make a comment about your poor planning with your one transmitter and having to get up out of your seat to flip the manual switch over to transmit. That shows determination and prodigiousness, and so I think that's worthy of a Gold Cup. Everybody else, interesting comments, but over to you, Mike. What do you have to say about that? K6ZSR, KJ6HN.
Well, the only thing I could say, Max, first of all, thank you. And the only other thing is, I don't know if I'm worthy about this, but I did work. I think I'm the only one that had to stand up every time to transmit. But, oh my gosh, okay, thanks, Max, for the recognition. That's been another fine vintage round table this evening. Thank you very much. H6HN and the group K6ZSR.
Break, please. Go ahead, break.
I wanted to add, Max, that I use what they call a telephone. It's not a slide switch, but with both momentary and lock-in contacts. It's a lever switch, and I use that on some of my AM equipment. That allows me to make a very short transmission and then lock it up if I want to make a longer one. So that's the other option, but that's hand-operated and usually right on the transmitter. Over.
Yeah, you had mentioned that, Skip, and I know exactly the type of switch you're talking about. They're really common in telephone company installations. Yeah, it's not a knife switch. It's got multiple contacts, kind of like a relay, and I've got several of them in my electronics box. One direction is momentary, the other one is locked on. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, and it usually has a little cylindrical black bakelite knob. I know that switch. All right. Well, thanks everybody for checking in and for additional comments, and a few people left the room. But another great Tuesday night vintage single sideband roundtable. We shall meet again next Tuesday. And one final comment from my end of the world. Yeah, we had rain up here in Darwin too. We got about a little over 1/10 of an inch of rain. Pretty much it was raining all day long. It's drizzling even right now. Probably going to get down below freezing tonight. I'm going to guess probably about 26 or 27 degrees Fahrenheit. So life up here at the high lonesome desert at 5,000 feet. So good night, everybody, and we'll catch you next Tuesday. KJ6HN closing the net.